In LeBar we trust. That's right. ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Just LeBar. Brand new shirt.
Who trusts LeBar?
Men's.
Nobody trusts
Ladies.
LeBar. Men might trust
Tank
LeBar,
top
not
size.
ladies, that's for sure.
Plenty of available options for your summer clothing wardrobe. All right. The big topic of the summer, though, Josh, is going to be, for the rest of the summer, is the news of Brock Lesnar going for what
You can do better than that.
Brock Lesnar.
Thank you.
For what he says is going to be a one-off return to UFC for UFC 200. Opportunistic. Let's start with this. He says he made the phone call. Let's say Brock's telling the truth. He picked the right time, waiting for Conor McGregor to not be on the event, waiting for Ronda Rousey not be there to call up and say, hey, Dana, I think you could use my name. Says he's going to have a one-off event at UFC 200 fighting this Mark Hunt, who's known to be an aggressive striker. And then he says he's going to be back on WWE programming for SummerSlam. Josh, your immediate reaction, first off, and then we'll continue to build off of this.
Sure, my immediate reaction is what's Vince going to gain? That's the first thing that every WWE fan should think about. And a lot of WWE fans, I'm not going to be surprised if they boo Brock Lesnar upon his return. And that's not a bad thing because Brock Lesnar doesn't need to be a face. Brock Lesnar doesn't need to be cheered. People were so happy, and the reason that people loved Brock Lesnar last year before WrestleMania 31 was because, wow, he picked pro wrestling over UFC. He picked us over the real sport. And if you think for a second, there's not wrestling fans out there that says, oh, to hell with Lesnar, let him go back to UFC and do his thing, then you're crazy and you're mistaken. But Vince McMahon is one of the smartest businessmen, and you know that Dana White respects him. So what does Vince McMahon have to gain off of this? I'll throw it out there now, plain and simple. Ronda Rousey, WrestleMania 33, Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, I mean, Vince should be owed a favor or a couple favors. That's obviously the biggest one he can cash in. It sounds like even preliminary we're already going to have maybe UFC promoting SummerSlam a little bit through their mediums. Yeah, so the favor thing. And then after that, it comes to me. It goes, I listen to Brock and all these interviews. And, I mean, he's talking about WWE as if they don't exist. I mean, he's speaking about UFC as if it's the ex that he's dying to get back with. And that he doesn't even want to acknowledge WWE.
Don't we have them all, Justin?
So, or a couple.
Or a
in
few.
some of our cases. So, to me, it becomes like, if he wins at UFC 200, and he does it, he's healthy, no diverticulitis, makes a statement, makes a lot of money, you can't tell me that him and Dana White are going to leave money on the table, and this one-off turns into more than that. And that concerns me because while, yes, it is great promotion for Brock Lesnar and the name and the fighter, and yes, he is a WWE property still, or at least some portion of him is, it's so much risk. If Brock Lesnar goes in there and tries to shoot this Mark Hunt guy down, and Mark Hunt drops him like second grade, English, then all of a sudden,
Who dropped second grade English? Everybody passes second grade English. Terrible analysis. Continue.
drops him like ninth grade French.
Like a bag of dirt.
Ninth grade French.
Whatever.
Let me reset this. If Brock Lesnar goes in there and shoots Mark Hunt down, and Mark Hunt knocks him out, and Brock Lesnar all of a sudden can't compete for SummerSlam, now all of a sudden I'm wondering, okay, does this favor look so good?
See, my biggest thing is this. I think that you look at Brock Lesnar.
Ninth grade French.
You're way off. But I think that WWE needs to be scared that Brock Lesnar, he has a 3-year contract. I understand that. But if Brock Lesnar wants to do something and Brock Lesnar doesn't want to do something with WWE, he can just say, F you, I'm gone. He can't.
There has to be some breach of contract.
There has to be, but do you think a couple of $1 million is going to stop Brock Lesnar from doing that? That's a fear that I have. I don't think it will happen because I think he's a businessman at first and foremost. All he does is talk about money, money, money.
Too. I think he does have some loyalty.
No, but he does not have loyalty. How does he have loyalty? Give me an example where he's shown loyalty.
I think
just because he re-signed with WWE to work 20 dates.
That's not the example. I think that he does have loyalty in the sense of where he would not. He also would not do that. He would not just completely breach a contract with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon, a guy who's made him a lot of money. I don't think he would do that.
But I agree somewhat. I think it's in the back of people's minds. But I think if you get Rousey at 33, that's an equal trade-off because everybody wants to see Rousey because she's a die-hard wrestling fan. She has this storyline that's already been put in place 2 years ago that people have been waiting to see. And just because Rousey lost doesn't mean that her star has lost any luster. It doesn't. Everybody still wants to see Rousey. Everybody's even more anxious to see what she does next, how she comes back bigger than ever. Paige Van Sant, the rumors of her at SummerSlam, not big enough of a name in the WWE realm to really draw a lot of buys. Yes, some UFC viewers would come over and look at that, but I think that's a little too forced. I don't want to see any UFC fighters aside from Brock Lesnar, obviously, at SummerSlam until WrestleMania. That's your big cash cow. You don't need SummerSlam being built around part-timers. You already have that in April. That's the best part for WWE to cash in on this.
Yeah, and you're right. I agree. Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey are the only two UFC stars that can come over to WWE and pull new audience over. Because I even wonder, with UFC promoting SummerSlam, WWE people will tune into UFC to watch their pro wrestlers step into the real fight. But UFC fans who don't already watch WWE, they usually have their mind made up that I'm not watching that fake crap. So if Ronda or Conor goes over there, yeah, they will because they're so big. But you're right. Paige Van Zandt or any of these other names that people think that are worthwhile, UFC fans are going to go, I don't care. It's
do
fake
we
stuff.
even really, like, I know Conor McGregor is a huge star, might have even trumped Ronda Rousey in the past couple of months, but I think Rousey is just that much wanted by WWE because she's a WWE fan.
Absolutely.
McGregor, I don't know if McGregor, I mean, it'll be a spike, but it's not going to be like, oh, we want Conor McGregor this, and this. He's 5'9", 145 pounds. Yeah, he can beat the crap out of me, who's 75 pounds bigger than him, but it's not like he's going to go in there like with the Floyd Mayweather aura around him at WrestleMania. It's going to be, okay, it's a the best UFC fighter in the men's division with a personality, but does he translate to fake wrestling?
Ronda's the bigger draw one-off because she's a fan, because she's a hot girl. She's the bigger one-off draw. Conor McGregor's like the Ken Shamrock of this era. If Conor McGregor said, I'm done fighting UFC and I wanted to go do 2 years in WWE, because he can talk, he smack talks, and because he's a guy and there's more guys to work with than there are girls for Ronda Rousey, Conor McGregor can actually get trained for pro wrestling and legitimately probably do 2 years, smack talk, and draw. But Ronda's the bigger box office for WrestleMania. Yeah, right. So, all right, we'd love to hear what you think. Josh Eisenberg 4 at Justin LeBar at CS Reality. We'll be doing, of course, live social media all week long as we do, as Raw's going on, SmackDown's going on, NXT, Money in the Bank as we build to it. You will not have any full CSR next week preview Money in the Bank, but make sure you follow each of our individual Twitters as our predictions for the matches will be made public, and we'd love to hear what you think. We'll see you then.